Hello, teachers. Nice to meet you again. Hope you got a better idea of the general visa process after watching the first visa instructional video. And in this video, we will go over the documents checklist for work permit application, explaining the requirements and taking a look on the samples, which can help you have a better sense on how a qualified documents look like. So we will talk about the checklist, go over the requirement of each document, and see some samples. Then I would like to give a brief introduction about the authentication process as well. So let's check out the documents first. As we mentioned before, the first phase of visa process is to collect documents for work permit application. So you will need to submit your passport, diploma, non-criminal background check report, electronic visa photo, updated resume, employment letter, electronic signature, medical form, teaching license or any kind of teaching certificates, prior Chinese visa if you have traveled to China before. Also, we will need your authenticated diploma as well as the authenticated non-criminal background check report. So together, there will be 12 documents to be collected. Additional supporting documents may be required case by case as the policy in each area of China may vary. Therefore, please do contact KL Visa team for your specific situation. And if you are traveling with dependents, we can apply dependent visa for them, which allows them to stay and live together with you during the employment period in China. Here is the checklist for your dependents. So we will need the passport, electronic visa photo, medical form, child birth certificate, marriage certificate, and authenticated child birth certificate and authenticated marriage certificate. If your dependents won't travel together with you at the beginning but will join you after you settling down, you don't have to prepare the dependence documents right now and can wait until you finish the resident permit process in China and settle down in our campuses. Now let's go over the requirements and samples of each document. So first, passport. Please scan a color copy of the first page of your passport, and both the top and bottom page should be included. And it must be valid at least 1.5 years before your contract ends. If you have an old passport, please also scan it to us. Here are two samples. The left one is good, but the right one won't be accepted due to the missing part of the top page. For diploma, please scan a color copy as well. If you have more than one diploma achieved, please scan them all. Then e-signature. This is pretty easy to do. You can just sign on a piece of white paper with black ink and then scan a copy and then send it to us. Electronic visa photo. So we will need an electronic visa photo to be uploaded to the online work permit application system. It sounds pretty easy to get a photo done, but actually a tricky one. From our previous experience, we met a lot of problems with the visa photo. So first, it must be a digital or electronic copy. Sometimes teachers had confusion for the meaning of digital copy. I can give you several examples here. So there is a printed passport photo. We had teachers who took a photo with their phone of the printed copy and then sent it to me, which was a retaken copy of printed photo. We also had teachers scanned the printed copy and then forwarded it to me. So it was a scanned visa photo, not what I meant digital copy. Neither of these two ways can work. We tried for a lot of times, but a retaken version or a scanned copy will both be rejected automatically by the online application system because of the low picture quality. So when you are going to a passport photo service store to take a visa photo, please ask the staff to have your picture stored in your flash drive instead of printing it out. Then you can send the electronic copy to our visa team. Another way I would like to suggest is to download a passport photo or ID photo app in your phone. So there are thousands of different apps. You can browse a little bit and find the one you like. The one I used most frequently was in Chinese, but I'm sure there are English ones in the App Store as well. For teaching license or any kinds of teaching certificates, please send a scanned color copy to us, such as your national teaching license, your state teaching license, or TEFL certificate, TESOL certificate, things like that. And if you have traveled and worked in China previously, please send a color copy of your prior Chinese visa. Updated resume. So for every item listed on your resume, please include a start and end date down to the month, formatted like month/year to month/year. Employment letter. The employment letter is also called as employment verification letter or reference letter, which is a proof to show your previous teaching experience to the Bureau. The Bureau has very strict requirements on the employment letter. Actually, the format could be slightly different as a sample, but all the required contents must be included in the letter. So let's have a look on the sample. First, the experience on the letter must align with the experience on your resume, and it should be with the company or school's official letterhead. Also, this experience must be in an education-related company or schools. In the letter, it must clearly state the start and end date of your employment period, which covers at least 2 years teaching experience. And also, it requires to clearly state the job title and the subject you have taught. Meanwhile, it must be a full-time teaching experience, which means your employment period cannot overlap with your education. At the bottom, it must include the referee's contact information with name, position, and referee's signature or school's official stamp. Medical form. To apply a work permit, you will need to do a medical check and have the medical form filled, signed, and stamped. So while reaching out, our visa team will send a blank medical form to you, and you can only use the form we provided, otherwise it won't be accepted by the Bureau. Once you receive the form, please make an appointment with your primary care provider for a physical check. Have the primary care provider or your doctor fill in the results in the form and state you are clear to work. Have the form both signed and stamped. And also, please don't forget to attach a photo in the right corner of the form. Then the most difficult part could be getting a background check and have it notarized and authenticated. The options to getting background check are different by countries, but generally speaking, the easiest way is usually to contact your local police department. KL has such a diverse team that teachers are from all over the world. Therefore, I'm so sorry that it is hard for us to find all the details for background check from each country. But we do have a paper-based instruction for getting background check with its authentication process, which covers most of the major English-speaking countries. If you have any questions, please refer to that instruction and contact our visa team for your special case. But here are also some general requirements for background check. So it must be issued within 6 months of your entry date to China. For example, if you are arriving in China in August this year, you should have a background check no earlier than February this year. Then here comes the authenticated documents. As mentioned before, for everyone, we will need your authenticated background check and authenticated diploma. And if you are traveling with dependents, we will need your authenticated marriage certificate and authenticated child birth certificate. For authentication, I can introduce it all together because the process works the same way for all documents. So what is authentication? The purpose of authentication is to have your documents admitted and can be used in China. To make it simple, let's say if you have applied a background check report in the US because it is issued from the US government. So Chinese government or Chinese organizations won't recognize the validity of this document. To have it admitted by Chinese government, you should have the document authenticated or legalized by a Chinese embassy in the US. So for our final goal is to have your document admitted in China, and in order to do so, we will need to get the document authenticated by an overseas Chinese embassy. Although the specific requirement may vary, for most of the countries in the world, document authentication procedures work the same way. Usually we call it 3 levels authentication. The level 1 stage usually is to have the document notarized by a local notary public. And then second step is to have it further authenticated by a government organization. For example, if it is in the US, it should be further authenticated by the Department of State or Secretary of State. And for UK, it's Foreign Commonwealth Office. And for South Africa, it's the Department of International Relations and the Cooperation of South Africa. And after level 2 authentication, it could be taken to the Chinese embassy for the final authentication. Here is a sample of an authenticated US diploma. So the first page is a true copy or a photocopy of a teacher's diploma. And in the back of the diploma, it has a notarization stamp. In the States, the level 1 diploma notarization could be done either by school registrar office or by a notary public. Then it could be further authenticated by Secretary of States. Usually the state authentication looks really fancy with its official stamp here. After that, it could be taken to the Chinese embassy for final authentication. And you can get a blue sticker like this from Chinese embassy after authentication. Usually the document and authenticated pages will be stapled together. Please do not remove staples or tamper with the authenticated document in any way, because this will invalidate it, and if you do so, you will have to start it over. Here is another sample, which is the authenticated background check. So first, you will apply a background check from the local police department. Have it notarized by a notary public. Then further authenticated by Secretary of States, and finally by Chinese Embassy. The authentication process could be confusing, so please do not hesitate to contact KL Visa team if you need any help. Meanwhile, I have listed 2 of the frequently asked questions here. So the first one is, if I'm from country A but my document is issued in country B, where should I authenticate my documents? The answer is country B because only the Chinese embassy in the document issued country have the authority to authenticate it. So if a teacher who is from the United Kingdom achieved his or her degree in the US, then his or her degree should be authenticated by the US Chinese embassy. If the teacher does not live in the US anymore, no worries. We have an agency in the US to help with the authentication. The second question is, if I don't know how to do the authentication and my country is not listed in the paper instruction, what should I do? So I would like to suggest in 3 possible ways. So first, do your own research online, as usually you can get a lot of information there. And second, browse the official website of the Chinese embassy of your home country. You can find the introduction and procedures for the document authentication in details. And there is a page called Consular Service, and you can find the document legalization or document authentication information there. Last but not least, please contact KL Visa team if you have any questions along the process. Thanks for watching. Our KL Visa team will follow up closely with you on the visa documents and assist you through the whole process. See you in China!